Halo guys, siapa nih yang pakai air radiator pakai air biasa dan nggak pernah dikuras guys? Efeknya seperti ini guys. Kalau terlalu lama pakai air biasa nih, dia berkerak seperti ini teman-teman. Kalau pakai air biasa minimal rajin dikuras, diganti air yang baru ya kan. Ini juga ada busi buat apa ya kan?
Quick fix part 3. If your steering wheel vibrates a lot at higher speeds, this is how you can check it out. Grab a jack up the front until the wheel is off the ground. Then grab it at the 3 and 9 o'clock positions and wiggle it back and forth. Bro, look at all that excess motion. It should be nice and tight like this. So pop off the wheel and locate your inner and outer tie rods. They should look something like this. Firmly grab the outer tie rod and try wiggling it back and forth. If it's loose like this, it's time for a new one. Now go ahead and remove this bolt, give this a good tug, and try moving this in and out. If it makes a clicking or popping sound, then it's time for a new inner tie rod.
Jadi gimana ini guys? Katanya pakai kunci palang stop salah, ngencengin pakai tangan katanya salah. Berarti kita harus pakai kunci momen guys. Mungkin ini standarnya tempat orang sporing guys, tapi kalau kita bengkel umum nggak punya kunci momen gimana? Terus kalau lagi posisi di jalan gimana? Kunci palang kayak gini bawaan dealer nggak kebawa, berarti nggak kepake. Berarti kunci L gini juga nggak bisa buat ngencengin roda guys. Berarti kalian harus beli kunci momen guys. Kunci momen kan ya mahal bang.
Quick fix part 17. If your clutch pedal feels squishy or your clutch fluid looks black and disgusting like this, it's time to bleed and replace with some fresh fluid. First, locate your clutch fluid reservoir. It'll look something like this. Give the cap a good wipe, then twist and pop it off. Now grab a turkey baster, suck out the old fluid, dump it into an old cup, grab some new fluid. In most cases, that'll actually be brake fluid. And pour some in the reservoir until it's close to the top. Then drop the cap back on, but don't close it. Next, locate your transmission. On the side of that, you'll have the clutch slave cylinder. It should look something like this. Locate the bleed screw on the side, grab a flare nut wrench, pop them in place, then grab your professionally made bleed device, which is really just a bottle with a hole in the top, some clear vinyl tubing. One side goes in the top, make sure it's submerged in the fluid, and the other side goes on the bleed screw. Finally, grab an assistant, have him press and hold down on the clutch pedal, crack loose the bleed screw, let some fluid flow out, then tighten back up the bleed screw, and let go of the clutch. Then just repeat that process, periodically checking and topping up the reservoir until the fluid comes out nice and clear.
Make sure you subscribe.
Ni penapis ni mesti kena ada. Dia punya sistem dia, minyak hitam masuk kat sini, naik balik, return balik. Jadi sampah yang dekat bawah, yang berat-berat punya sampah, dia akan semua sangkut kat sini. Sebab ada ni penapis jaring ni. Dia akan duduk macam ni. Aku banyak biji yang buka enjin LC penapis dengan spring ni tak ada. Gamak dia buka, benda tu jatuh, tak perasan duduk dalam minyak hitam. Aku tak pasang. Tengok sistem dia, minyak hitam yang bawah ni, dia kan mesti ada habuk-habuk kan. Dia akan masuk kat bawah ni, kita sangkut. Sebab dia nak naik ke atas ni balik, ada oil pump tarik. Oil pump minyak hitam tarik minyak daripada bawah ni naik ke atas. Dia akan tersangkut sampah-sampah sini. Jadi bila kita buang minyak hitam tu, kita kena buka cuci kan. Sampah-sampah mesti ada sikit-sikit. Dah lama sangat tu lagi banyak.
Friends, this is the last and final piece we need to finish up the rear end in the Miata. We got the diff in, and now it's time for the axles. These guys are by track motive here. We're gonna throw them in, and the rear end's gonna be complete. So let's get to it. Whoa.
Got it. Okay. Right. Not bad for
500 plus horsepower X3. Got some debris in there, but I think it looks really good. What do you think, Justin?
It's alright.
I think that line boring process works. 'Cause we could just about reuse these.
Yeah.
I mean, all but two of them. Thrust looks as to be expected. These things kill thrust bearings, so that's fine. See you soon. iPhone can't even zoom in on this crosshatch. Oh, put a new crank in it, send it. Perfect circle out.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
This customer was complaining his U-bolts kept coming loose. Now, depending on the style of suspension the chassis is equipped with, the pin will be in a different location. However, there's always a locating pin on the bottom of the suspension pack that can wear excessively and cause the entire pack to slide along the carrier housing. This is actually a pretty common thing, especially for somebody that's stopping and going a lot with a heavy load. These U-bolts never like to let loose, so I'll blow them off with a torch and bang them right out. Anytime you're messing around with suspension like this, please make sure you know what you're doing, because if you're not careful, things are going to start to shift around a lot, and even worse, something may fall and hit the floor. I like to hold the carrier housing upright at the hub with the jack stand. This is how I've always done it. We'll remove the saddle from the top of the wishbone. This one doesn't wear as much, but there's a pin underneath it. It's always a good idea to check it. Dismount the wishbone from the airbag in the shock tower, and you'll see the wishbone can now swing inside the perch. There's a rubber roller inside the perch that's mounted with a bolt. Take this out and you could actually swing the entire wishbone out and lift it out with your hand. With the wishbone out of the way, we could go ahead and confirm our suspicion. It's actually worse than I thought in this case. The entire locating pin is snapped off inside the carrier housing. so it's going to require a bit of a special fix. But needless to say, it is absolutely fixable, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that in another video. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you next time.
Why your engine needs back pressure in under 60 seconds. An internal combustion engine is basically a large air pump. The more air we can get in, the more fuel we can add, the more horsepower you can make. This also means we need to pump air out of the air pump in the form of exhaust gases. So what's the best way to get all the exhaust gases out of the air pump? Naturally, you just think, let's lop the exhaust straight off at the extractors. The problem is, if we do this, the exhaust actually slows down dramatically out of the extractors and doesn't flow very well. This is where we need the back pressure. But this phrase is actually wrong. We don't actually want any pressure going back to our air pump. What we're really looking for is exhaust velocity. The best way to maintain exhaust velocity is with the correct size exhaust pipe for your engine. If the exhaust is too large, it's going to expand very quickly and actually slow right down. At the same time, if the pipe's too small, it's going to create a restriction. So the word back pressure is incorrect. We want to maintain exhaust velocity. If we can keep it going fast, we can get more out of our engine.
Halo guys, hari ini kita berbagi tips simple banget nih. Gunain 2 tali tis untuk masang roda kopling biar langsung lurus dan center sama lubangnya ya kan. Jadi ketika kalian pasang langsung lurus, tinggal plek-plek aja ya kan. Buat teman-teman, semoga tips ini bermanfaat ya kan, mempermudah pekerjaan kita guys.